You see Aries and you think strength. Fire. Certainty. The kind of person who walks into a room like they already know the ending of every story. But here's something no one tells you: Aries isn't strong because they were born that way. Aries is strong because they never felt like they had the permission to be anything else. If you're an Aries, or you've ever loved an Aries, what you're about to hear may feel uncomfortably familiar. And before we go deeper, I'm going to ask for something small: hit like. Not for me, but so this reaches the Aries who are still pretending they don't break. And if, at any point, you hear a sentence that feels like it was written from inside your chest, subscribe. Because this isn't another zodiac video. This is the conversation Aries will never start, but desperately needs someone to finish. Aries carries a secret that doesn't match their reputation at all: they are terrified of being seen struggling. Everyone thinks Aries is bold, fearless, loud. But underneath that fire, there's a fear so quiet, and so old, that most Aries don't even realize they're living by it. They're scared of burdening people, scared that their emotions take up too much space, scared that their honesty will overwhelm the people they care about. So what do? They perform. They rise. They push through. They handle everything before anyone can offer help, because the idea of needing someone feels like a crime they're not allowed to commit. This is the emotional paradox of Aries: they look like the bravest sign, because they are desperately afraid of appearing weak. And that fear didn't start yesterday. Aries grows up fast, emotionally, mentally, energetically. At some point in their life, someone told them directly or indirectly, "You're too much, you're dramatic, you're intense, or the worst one, handle it yourself." Aries internalized that. They decided vulnerability wasn't safe. So they built a version of themselves that could survive without needing anyone: a warrior, a fire starter, a force. But here's the truth Aries hides even from themselves: the warrior persona is not for the world, it's for their own protection. Aries is more sensitive than people realize, sensitive in the way fire reacts instantly to oxygen. Everything hits them fast and full force: excitement, pain, fear, love, anger. They feel things in extremes, and they often feel them alone because they don't trust anyone with the intensity inside them. This is why Aries rushes through their emotions, why they bounce back quickly, why they distract themselves instead of processing. If Aries slows down, the feelings catch them. And that terrifies them more than anything. Now let's talk about a trait that always makes people laugh, but is actually heartbreaking when you understand it: Aries hates asking for help. Not mild irritation. Not shyness. Pure, visceral discomfort. Why? First, asking means admitting they can't handle everything. Aries sees that as failure, not because they're proud, but because they equate being too much with being unworthy. Second, they're scared of being rejected. You'll never see this fear: they hide it behind confidence, humor, sarcasm, but inside, the idea of someone saying no makes them feel small. And Aries cannot stand feeling small. Third, they think depending on someone is dangerous. What if that person pulls away? What if they judge them? What if they get tired? Aries doesn't fear vulnerability itself. Aries fears abandonment after vulnerability. So when an Aries asks for help, understand something important: they've already fought an entire war inside their head, lost their pride 3 times, rehearsed the sentence way too long. That small request is actually enormous. But this is where things get deeper. Aries is fragile in a way people never understand. Their emotions are fast, explosive, immediate, but they don't last long. Aries hurts intensely, then heals quickly, but they rarely process anything. Their coping mechanism is motion: run forward, start over, do something, anything. Because slowing down means confronting the emotions they've been running from. This is why Aries can be heartbroken at noon and laughing at dinner. It's not faking. It's emotional survival. But there's a cost. Every unprocessed wound piles up quietly in the background. Aries keeps moving, but the weight follows them. And eventually, the fire burns from both ends. You can always tell when an Aries is collapsing behind the mask. Just watch the shift. They laugh louder, move faster, joke more, fill silence with noise, or they disappear entirely. When an Aries goes silent, that's when they're hurting the most. Their silence is not calm, it's cleanup. It's the moment they gather the pieces alone so no one has to worry. Aries believes their emotions are inconvenient. And that belief is the most damaging wound they carry. But what does Aries truly need? Not advice. Not logic. Not someone telling them they're overreacting. They need emotional safety. They need someone who stays steady even when Aries burns too hot. They need someone patient, grounded, consistent, someone who understands that Aries' intensity is not hostility, it's passion plus fear plus history. If you love an Aries, remember this: when they push you away, it's not rejection, it's protection. When they say, "I'm fine," it's exhaustion. When they refuse help, it's fear, fear of being too much, fear of being misunderstood, fear of being left behind after opening up. Don't pressure them. Don't lecture them. Say this instead: when you're ready, I'm here. That sentence melts Aries faster than affection ever could. Aries doesn't trust words, they trust consistency, presence, energy that doesn't evaporate the moment things get heavy. And if you are an Aries, listen closely. You don't need to be strong every hour of every day. You don't need to fix everything on your own. You don't need to hide every time you break. You are allowed to collapse. Allowed to need support. Allowed to be held. Allowed to be human. Your emotions are not a burden. Your intensity is not too much. Your fire is not something people have to survive, it's something they choose to stand beside. The people meant for you won't run. They won't shrink. They won't think your passion is a problem. Let them in. Just a little. Because the truth you never admit is this: you're not afraid of weakness. You're afraid no one will stay when they see it. But the right people will. And you deserve them. If something in this felt like it was written directly to you, hit like so the algorithm knows to show you more of what you need. Share this with an Aries you love. They may never say it, but they need this. And subscribe for more deep emotional truths behind every sign.